right, y'all, before we start, because some of y'all be tripping, under the advice of counsel, I got to add that the views, thoughts, opinions that are expressed on this podcast are mine and mine alone. They do not represent my employer. All right, let's go.
Because I was like, damn, do we really want to get into this discussion? Because if we get into this discussion right here, y'all.
What's up, y'all? We are back with another episode of Reach My Force Finest, the podcast. And today I have my girl Jay here from the Human Resource. All right. So before we get into Jay telling us all about her, we are getting ready to go back to school, teachers. And y'all know we ended the school year with some hellacious things going on in our school districts around the state of Texas, especially with the Texas teacher certification scandal that went on and all of the teachers losing their jobs. So many teachers were reaching out to me like, oh my God, what do I do? I'm stuck. Help. Right? So I had this grand idea, me and my teacher friends, to say, hey, you know what? So many of y'all are not in the union, and we're going to talk about that a little later, but y'all still needed help, and it was too late for the union to help you. So we were like, hey, we need to start some type of nonprofit grassroots initiative to get teachers to be able to start learning how to advocate for themselves and speak up against school systems that were bullying, intimidation, retaliation, all of the things that we were experiencing as educators, but we were too afraid to speak out for or speak up against. So we have started the School Truth Project, and we're going to talk a little bit about the School Truth Project in a few, but we got my girl Jay here, who is a partner with us in the School Truth Project from the Human Resource, and she is going to tell us all things human resources as far as education goes. Now, disclaimer, Jay always says on me about this, she is not just an education HR practitioner, she is an HR practitioner entirely, all right? But because she has experience in the school districts and we are teachers, we got her here to tell us everything that we need to know, especially here in the state of Texas. So what's up, Jay? Introduce yourself to the people.
Hi, educators, hi, people. How's it going? All right. So I am here at Resource, and I am here to strip away the performative politics of K-12 education and spotlight the truth behind teacher burnout, retaliation, and HR manipulation. I'm an HR practitioner with specific experience in K-12 education. And so I'll just be honest. I didn't just witness the dysfunction, I authored it. I've been in the meeting where cases were built against educators. I drafted the memos that initiated silent exits. One day I realized I was helping districts push out the very educators we claim to support. So I left. And now I use the same institutional knowledge to protect teachers from inside the very systems that were never designed to protect them.
I think that's so powerful because we always hear HR is not your friend, HR is not your friend. And I hate that some of you guys, especially some of you good HR executives or you get good HR practitioners, get that reputation. We have a saying in the school district that I am that when we see the HR people come on campus, we like, hey y'all, the Grim Reaper here. The Grim Reaper here, because we always say it's never anything positive when HR comes onto your campus, right? So although we want to kind of strip away that negative thought that we have when we hear HR, we also want teachers to be educated and knowledgeable about what HR's purpose is. So when talking about HR and what teachers don't understand about HR, tell us what is something that teachers truly do not understand or get when it comes to human resources.
So HR's allegiance is not to the employee. It's to the district or whoever the employer is. Their job is to mitigate liability and not mediate fairness. When the district is building a case, HR facilitates it, often behind the scenes through documentation strategies, paper trails, ambiguous language designed to justify an exit. If you're not documenting someone else is documenting against you.
So why is it that HR is never on the teacher side? So even when teachers go to HR with the grievance or go to HR with a complaint, why is it that they don't advocate for us even in the situation where we may be right?
So not all HR personnel do that. I know that I found myself trying to just, stick to the script of what's right and what's wrong, fact versus feelings. Because a lot of educators will come to the office and they would always say, I feel. And while I sympathize with your feelings, what are the facts?
Yeah.
That is another key thing that I want educators to take away from this is you can feel disrespected, you can feel hurt, you want to feel seen, but I need to know what the facts are that got you into this position where you're being documented now.
Okay. So now talking about how districts build cases against teachers from the get-go. Teachers may not even know that a case is being built against them, but how are they actively pushing teachers out and getting away with it?
Honestly, it's simple. It's simple and it's easy because teachers aren't doing what they're supposed to do. It's easy to get you out when you don't come to work on time. It's easy to get you out when you are failing to meet your KPIs. It's easy to get you out when you violated one of the 30 things that's on your contract that is actually there to protect you. So building a case isn't hard because you're not doing what you're supposed to.
So when we say, okay, you're supposed to be on duty at 8:05, but every other day you're coming to duty at 8:10, 8:15, you may be an amazing teacher, but you may say the wrong thing one day to piss somebody off. So now I need to try to manage you out. I need to get you out of there. And I'm going to use something as simple as you coming to duty 5-10 minutes late as a tool to be able to get you out.
And to be honest, that's one of the biggest ones. It's one of the easiest ones. Because it's a pattern of you being late and or still in time. So the reality of it is they also have to do for you. They also have to do whatever they're doing to you to someone else. It can't be that they're just singling you out. So let's say, for instance, we carpool together, and I'm late 5 to 10 minutes every day, and so are you. But I'm the only person that got wrote. And so what the memo would look like is on September 5th, September 6th, September 7th, you worked late, you came in at this time, you were supposed to report at this time, and you failed to do so. Again, timeliness is one of the easiest things to get rid of someone for.
Wow. So as teachers are getting ready to go back, what are some of the telltale signs that you are being watched, you are being documented against, and you are being managed out?
So I'll be honest, I believe that everybody starts with a clean slate. So if you, whatever standing you left in, let's just go ahead and say that when you come back, your principal, it's a new year and they want to do right. However, the first time that you start to act up, that's when you get the notice to the file.
Okay. And
this typically happens around what we call the 15-day count and what you guys identified as a snapshot,
like around October-ish.
Yes. Totally.
Okay.
That is when the documentation process actually starts.
Okay. All right.
So sometimes it starts later, but the best thing to do is to have as much documentation as possible. Literally, when they come in and they want to meet with legal and meet with HR to say, okay, I want to document this person out. We want to see, let me see this book. This is, in order for it to happen, this is what I want to see. The principal needs to come in to me with this much documentation to say, I've been documenting her since October. She's constantly late. She's not meeting expectations, things like that. If I have a pad on you this thick, it's easy to get you out.
Okay. So before we get into documentation, what are some things that you said you facilitated, you have authored to get a teacher out? When a principal comes in, they already know in October. And wait, before we go there, let's talk about why October is the important date.
Because it's the 15-day count. And so during this date is when we assess the amount of students that are there.
Okay.
As ugly as it sounds, yes, student bodies is actually what keeps the district working. And so with that being said, if there is a student shortage of them not coming to school, then that significantly impacts, or if they're consistently late, that does significantly impact the amount of money that the district gets if they're able to pay you.
Right.
So among the 15-day count, if enrollment is low, there's not enough students, then we roll into last one in is the first one out.
Yeah.
You could have been the best teacher possible. But if the kids aren't there, the enrollment isn't there, they are not able to keep you. And it's nothing personal. It really is down to how much is this costing us.
So those are the situations where they move teachers, right? So first in, last out, or last in, first out, they move you. And then I think a key thing that teachers need to know, we hear this phrase all the time, is your contracts are based on district need. Like you don't have a contract with your campus. You have a contract with the district. So if the district, if they want to mess with you and they say, hey, we don't have a need for you on this campus, but we have a need for you at the bus bar, or we have a need for you at a campus that's an hour away from your home, as a teacher that you have no desire to be, but you have a certification for, this is where we need you. And if you want your contract and you want this paycheck, you got to go where we need you to go. So I think that's something important that we need to.
That is absolutely the truth. And a lot of times it's not happening out of retaliation. It's happening as a district need. So they say that, but it really is true.
Right.
It's unfortunate, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
So based on the needs of the district, okay, this school doesn't have enough enrollment, but a school clear across town does. The reality of it is yes, it may be further and you didn't anticipate going there, but that's what we need you. That's what we can actually pay you.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be very interesting or specific cases where you would get reassigned home because there's nowhere for you to go. But you do have a contract, and that is the contract that protects you. So if they can't place you anywhere, they will place you somewhere just to be able to keep you afloat.
Because I'm not giving you money for free. Right. Okay.
So if that's hallway duty,
yeah.
But what's the line? What would you rather?
I need my paycheck. I need my insurance, I need my benefits, and that's what a lot of teachers get. I hate to use the word intimidated and bullied by because I know those are very specific when you're talking about HR and EEOC, but that's how they get a lot of people because.
But that one is that bad because to me it's the truth. It's like, okay, Snapchat came, you can't stay here. So I guess the question is, how does it feel retaliatory?
So I think it just depends on the situation, right? Like if you know doggone well they're not doing it at the other schools, the enrollment is low as well, and they haven't lost any teachers, but you're gonna move me and send me somewhere else, but we have the same enrollment or their numbers may be even lower, but you're messing with me. And I know you're messing with me because you already have these other things that I've done. So why are you messing with me? Why am I being moved? So I think it depends on the case where teachers can feel like it's retaliatory. So let's go back to documentation. You mentioned something earlier about documentation. We always hear if it ain't in black and white, it ain't. Okay. So now that we are talking about documentation, how important is it for teachers, even if they feel like it's the most menial task ever, to document things when they feel like something is funny going on?
If you didn't document it, it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
Documentation is not a diary. It's legal armor. It must be objective, timestamped, and written as if it will be reviewed by their legal counsel or yours. Educators must learn to document facts, not feelings, dates, quotes, emails, context. I supported teachers in identical situations, those who documented properly, kept their positions or secure settlements, and then those who didn't and were pushed out without recourse.
What would give me like a brief example if you could think of something off the top of your head that would justify as me giving you actual factual documentation versus me just venting or using my documentation as a diary?
So that goes back to fact versus feeling. A lot of times when people go into employee relations, they just want to be heard. So as an investigator, then that was just my job. I got some very great listening skills during that position because it's just okay. You said all day. You took 30 minutes or an hour. Was like, do you feel better? Yes, I feel better. Okay, so let's separate facts from feelings. Were you retaliated against? Yes, I feel like I was retaliated against. Did you not come to work on time? Well, no, but I called and I had this excuse, but you were late and you didn't come on time. So you may feel attacked, but the data shows that you were chronically late.
And that's how they get you.
That teacher, a lot of educators just are not following the rules. Like the rules are there.
Yeah, this is true.
And they're not being followed, so it's easy to get rid of you.
Yeah, this is true. So when we talk about like what are some digital type tools or resources that teachers can use to document? I know it doesn't always have to be, oh snap, this happened to me on the B hallway at 2:30. Let me run back to my desk and write it down in my little handy dandy notebook. What are some tools that you use or that you found to have benefited teachers when it was time to defend them?
So another that I will get to is for educators specifically. Once you start the new school year, just go ahead or whatever campus you're at, say you're at Plant Elementary because there's a plant in front of us. You have a dummy email address that's Plant Elementary. Every email that you send, every email that is sent to you, you BCC to email. And then that way you automatically have a Rolodex of everything that has happened to you and you're not looking for anything because by the time they know that they're going to get rid of you, they're going to come in at 8, at 9.
You're out of there. Access done. Yes. I tell teachers that all the time. Like, hey, go ahead and start forwarding things to yourself now if you hadn't already done that because you'll look up and my experience with some of my teacher friends that have had HR to come and do the dreaded walk on their campus is they have you in the principal's office and everybody's talking about why you're going to go on administrative leave or whatever they're going to do for you or do to you while they investigate. They take your keys immediately. They take your badge immediately. And they tell you, we'll walk with you, if they give you that luxury to walk with you to your classrooms to get any personal items that you have. But you do this it's like a humiliation ritual, right? You do this walk through the hallway and everybody's looking at you with the Grim Reaper standing next to you. The Grim Reaper uses your key to open your door because you can't have them anymore. Stands there while you go through your things and make sure that you're taking your things and nothing that belongs to the district. Walks you out to your car, not out the door. Walks you to your car, stands there while you start your engine and drive off the campus. That is humiliating. So I tell teachers all the time, get your
Yeah, so it is very humiliating, and I can personally say that I never would do that. What I would do is actually work with the principal and say, hey, you know that I'm coming to do this. What you should do is when I call them down, you go and get their things. And here's the thing. Whether you are being terminated, whether you have to leave, it's life changing.
Yeah.
So I know personally for me, I would try to be as human as possible. Just like, hey, I know that this is very difficult. However, I've already had your principal go and get your purse. Is there anything else in there that you need that we can go and get for you? Because I don't want to do the walk of shame. I don't want to do it with you, and I don't want you to do it.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate that some HR professionals do that because you really shouldn't. Like the whole reason why we have human resources is because we are human. You are human, and so there has to be some type of empathy when there's a situation where you are about to lose your job.
Yeah. And that's the unfortunate part. Look, we were just talking about that. I feel like so many people have been in their positions for so long and it's a job to them. Like at the end of the day, the empathy is gone and it's a job because they have to pay their mortgage and feed their kids too, right? And to me, it almost seems like, and this is a whole nother episode I'll get into another time, buck breaking, like modern day buck breaking. You remember we talk about through the slave days, how the slave owners and the plantation owners would break the one that they felt was the strongest one to set an example for everybody else to let them know, like, hey, don't play with me. I'm the master. I'm the owner. And so a lot of times I feel like a lot of these human resources executives or these professionals do that to these teachers in an effort to show the others, like, this could be you. Keep playing with us. Keep bucking the system. This could be you. And I know your experience is different because you see, like, you are literally the human in the human resource, right? But we have to consider that everybody doesn't have the same experience. Like, we can have 100 teachers here that'll tell you, hey, I work for this school district and this person has been here for 30 years and everybody knows them as the Grim Reaper. Or I work for this school district and it's a team of them and they are rigid and about the business. There is no empathy. There is no human in the human resource.
And that's just so unfortunate. But to your point, I have been there in my career where everything just became so black and white that there were no areas of gray with me.
Yeah.
And so I just became so analytical, even in my personal life, that I felt like I needed to respond with, facts, figures, this and timestamps, and it just made me a very uncomfortable, unlikable person. So when I was promoted into a people ops role, I made it my mission to make sure that I was for the people.
Okay.
And that I helped them in any way possible, down to, okay, educators are one of the few professions where you really can't just go in and ask for a raise. However, you can ask for, so the question I'll ask you, okay, so I can't give you a raise, but what is it that you want that I can give you?
Right.
Professional development that you want to go to, that I can, facilitate what you get paid for? Do you need something for your classroom, like, some computers or this and this? So you always have to ask yourself, okay, I can't get money. What is it that I can get?
Right. Right. So going back to documentation, we always have we see them in every school district's email, these little caveats at the bottom of the emails that say this email communication is the property or the own, I don't know what it is. We're all supposed to copy and paste it into our email signatures, right? So how can that be used against us when it's like, okay, hey, now I have this email that I forwarded to my personal email address, hotmama@aol.com. And yes, guys, I am probably one of the only people in America that still owns an AOL email address. I use it for everyday life. But when you come in, you bring in your documentation, and then you forwarded a lot of this personal information to your personal email address that is outside the district. How can that work against you?
It can work against you. Has someone's address on it, or someone's social or birthday, or this and this, they will find any reason to say that it's a violation of a certain policy because there is something in it that wasn't redacted. And so when you're an employee, it's not as bad as when you're not. So let's say, for instance, you sent all these emails and now you're building your case with employee relations and you have all this stuff. They'll say, well, this isn't admissible because it violates our code of conduct, our this or that, because she has this person's name in it, or this and that. So my recommendation would be, okay, yes, still use the document, but redact the information when you submit.
Right.
Redact any personal information. But the other thing is, let's say, for instance, you don't have anything. You could still do a ticket request to get it. So, and they would have to give it to you.
That's interesting.
And they would redact the information to make sure that nothing is in there.
So this is basically like a freedom information, open records request. Yeah. Okay. I think a lot of teachers, let's talk briefly about open records requests, right? When I talk to the many teachers that reach out to me for whatever reason, that's the first thing I ask. I'm like, hey, have you done ABC? And a lot of them like, what is that? They don't even know that they have the ability or the luxury or the privilege to even access that information. Okay. Some school districts have it on their websites. I believe they're all supposed to have it on their websites. And some districts make it very difficult to locate the process and how to, obtain that information on their websites. But teachers are like, well, if I file this, then they're going to know it's me. And I'm like, guys, that's the point. So I think this is where a lot of school districts get over on us, right? They rule by intimidation and fear. Teachers are scared as hell to even exercise a little piece of their rights. I have this t-shirt that I wear sometimes, and it says due process for all, right? Okay. Because teachers, you have a right to due process. And they're like, well, what is due process? I have due process rights? And it's like, girl, we all do. Like, yes. But teachers and school districts have bullied these teachers so bad into, it's an abusive relationship, right? Like, you beat me so bad. I almost had like Stockholm syndrome. So where I don't even know that I'm a victim anymore. That now I'm protecting you. I'm finding out all these things to do to protect you, even though I am the victim. So I just feel like so important for teachers to just know their rights, and for us, those of us that are familiar with them, to help educate them as much as possible. Let's go back into retaliation, bullying in a hostile work environment, right? We know that these are some things that are the hardest things to prove, right? It goes back to what you said about facts versus feelings, right? Yeah. I can feel like the hostile working environment is being created. I can feel like you're trying to intimidate me. I can feel like you're trying to bully me, but how can I prove it? So what does retaliation really look like? So let's talk to the teachers, not about how they feel, but give me some examples, maybe in some things that you've experienced in some of your cases. Okay. What does retaliation really look like?
So I'll be honest, retaliation rarely announces itself. It shows up in silence. Your duties are reassigned. Your evaluations suddenly shift. Your colleagues become distant. It begins subtle. And by the time it's over, the paper trail is already working against you. A quick truth is, if you report misconduct or challenge a directive and things suddenly shift, that's not a coincidence. That's like a retaliation.
Yeah. It's so good. It's so hard to not put my personal stuff into this conversation, because I know we're trying to have an objective conversation and teach the people. But even with what you just said, like if you challenge a system and then all of a sudden you feel a shift change, right? Even with that, it's hard to prove when, let's say, you've done something that says, oops, but no, because you challenged this system on October the 10th, but on October the 11th, you were 2 minutes late to work. Even though you called your principal and said, hey, I'm running behind because I got a flat tire on October the 12th, technically you were late. And technically you broke policy because you were late. So no, we're not retaliating against you. You were late, and we're getting on you about this because of your incident on October the 12th, not whatever happened on October the 11th. Now we know damn good well It's about what happened on October the 11th, because prior to that, can't do it. Prior to that, I was late several times. Or that person was late, not me, because I'm never late. That person was late several times, and nobody ever said anything. But now all of a sudden, you speak out against the system, you challenge something, and now you are being written up. You're being targeted.
So here's the thing. You're late, one time, 5 times, 6 times. That's not really alarming. But once you get past like 8 or 9, 10 times,
yeah,
coincidentally, it happened. You were late immediately after you did something. What the write-up should say is, on this day, this day, this day, this day, this day, you were late. Be reminded that board policy states that you must get here on time, this, and that. And, you are being, the expectation is for you to get to work on time.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the wording. Can you get written up for being late one time? Technically you can.
Yeah.
But would you know, you just happen to come in late on the 10th time, and now they have to remind you, this isn't the first time.
Right.
10th time. And so that's why the documentation is happening.
Got you. So let's go back to when it's time to remove you, or when it's time for them to push you out. I'm going to always go back to, I got to have you back when I do the episode about modern day buck breaking. I'll be real radical and Black Panther with my stuff. So, and I have this theory in my mind that this school districts and teachers is such a fine correlation between that theory. But anyway, that's the subject. There's a pattern when school districts want to get you out, right? They do this thing, they silence you, they isolate you, like you said, they discredit you, and then they push you out. And I think the biggest thing to focus on is the discrediting part, because a lot of teachers may not realize that they're being discredited in their claims, right? So let's say, for instance, a teacher has an issue with a principal, and she's like, hey, I think this principal is stealing money. I think this principal is stealing money. I've seen this principal steal some money. And all the principal's friends, because some of these school districts they run these good old boy networks, right? And everybody is connected and everybody is related. The nepotism runs rampant in a lot of these school districts. Oh, no. That was just a gift given by the, Girls and Boys Club and da-da-da-da-da. And now I'm publicly making you look stupid and making you feel like you're a liar and making people believe that you're a liar, and I'm discrediting you, even though doggone good and well, I know that you're telling the truth. But I don't need the truth to come out, because my school district is this prim and pristine and proper place, and we're never on the news. Nothing ever negative happens here, and you are trying to shine a spotlight on something negative happening here. And so now I need to make you out to be a liar. I need to make you out to be crazy. I need to make you out to be erratic and a drunk or something like that. And then I silence you and I quietly push you out. And you go out, and your legacy as you're leaving is, oh, that crazy, drunk, erratic person.
I mean, it's easy to deposit doubt. And that's why the whole thing about reasonable doubt. Is she really telling us things? Could she be lying? Because it's easy to go back. Let's say, for instance, you did take a monetary exam for most things say that you can't take anything over $50. So let's just say someone gave you something that was well over $50.
Yeah.
It's easy for you to just wrap it up in a gift or a donation to the school and say, okay, well, this was a donation to the entire school, and we're going to use it in this way.
Okay.
That discredits you, what you're saying. So unless you have verifiable truth where it was recorded, taped, or something like that, then you're just saying things without any proof.
Yeah. So let's talk about legal language, right? I always talk on social media about, like, teachers, we're educators, but a lot of us, we lack the basic comprehension and listening skills that we are preaching to parents that their students don't have. So when it comes to the language that is in our contracts, like, what is some like legal language that protects teachers and how they can use it to protect themselves, how they can use it against the school districts when the school districts come for them?
So what I will always say, because teachers do have that really, really bad, they listen to respond.
Absolutely.
And they're not just actively listening.
Absolutely.
So I would challenge all you guys to stop trying to listen to respond and just listen to everything. Just let the whole tape play out before you have a response. And then take some time to get your response together.
Yeah.
Don't do anything brash and do it immediately right then while emotions are very high. Yeah. So board policy isn't just red tape. It's your strategic leverage. It outlines exactly what the district can and cannot do. Most teachers don't cite policy because they don't understand it. But when you cite the exact policies that they violated, you change the power dynamic.
Yeah.
You shift the narrative from emotional to non-compliant. And so that's what you guys need to just really understand.
Right.
Sit down one day and just look at all the contracts and see what legal language is there.
We do need to do that.
It's different from this, and what does that mean? But the best thing for you to do is when you are submitting your rebuttal or you are submitting a complaint, the first thing that it says is board policy BH local section 762.9 was violated when principal such and such did this.
Yeah.
And that immediately makes everybody sit up at attention and say, okay, let's get a highlighter. Let's outline all the board policies you feel that we have violated.
Yeah. But teachers that can also work against you, ask me how I know. Because when you do something, they're gonna say, board policies, it may be the most broad, the most generic ass policy in the handbook, but keep it a buck.
Yeah.
You was in the wrong, right? So then this is a situation where you gotta, I say to my kids sometimes, pardon this language because we typically don't use this language on this podcast. We do it on Teachers After Dark though, shameless plug. You gotta sing your shit. Right. And so I've discovered, y'all know me, I've been doing this for a long time, that when they hit me with something, it's like, yeah, you got me. I got to sit in my shit because you got me, right? You may not have gotten me on any other day, right? I know that it may be retaliatory, but you got me. That's that little fine print in that policy that we didn't read, or that's that one thing that you're going to lean back on, or you're going to rely on, you're going to fall back on to say, I want to get this person out. And once they hit you with that policy,
and it won't just be one, it'll be multiple policies, because the reality of it is anybody perfect?
Yeah.
Or not.
Right.
You can violate all the board policies in one day and not even realize that you're doing it. But you are being documented, and that's what you have to understand.
Yeah.
Documentation starts day one. On the first day of school, when you guys are going back and y'all are enjoying those donuts and oranges and all that stuff. There was a situation at a district that I worked at where 2 employees were at this breakfast, and one employee cut the line in front of the other one. They entered into a physical altercation. One was a brand new teacher, hadn't received their first paycheck. The other one was a veteran teacher, had been there 10 years. Both
fighting over some donuts or in a breakfast line?
Fighting over space. Like, you skipped me.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And because school hadn't started yet, and a full investigation has to be done. So they were reassigned home. And after the investigation was over, to say really who did what, they were both out of a job before school even started. That's crazy.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because now let's talk about administrative leave and teachers when they go under investigation. A big thing, I did a little quickie podcast about chapter 21, right? And how so many teachers did not even realize that was a thing. And how, even though we are in Texas and we are in at-will state, some of us have term contracts. So we have certain little protections that don't fully, I don't want to say they don't fully exempt us from being at will, but it gives us a little time. It gives us a little buffer, right? So when the whole Texas teacher thing went down, scandal certification thing, some school districts were calling their teachers in the office immediately. I mean, the day that it hit the news, and they're like, hey, TEA says you fraudulently obtained your certification. You got to go. So you can resign, or you can resign in lieu of termination, or we're going to fire you, right? So when that happened, I don't know if you recall, teachers were shook. They were like, oh shit, because some of them allegedly were guilty. And so they're like, oh my God. In a lot of school districts, so I'm hearing when people are reaching out to me, the school districts threaten the teachers with legal action. Like, we're going to come after you for fraud, and we're going to come after you, especially those of you with special education certifications, because you signed off on IEPs, you signed off on 504s. These are federal documents, and you're in the wrong. And so those teachers were like, oh snap, I'm scared. I'm just going to resign. And I was screaming, girl. I was making videos screaming, do not quit your job. Do not quit your job. Like, you have protections in place. I don't care if you're a first year teacher. I don't care if you're on a probationary contract. I don't care if you've been teaching for 3 years. Do not resign. There were several teachers involved in that like was like, hey, I listened to your video. I didn't resign. And the school districts were like, shoot, they didn't resign. They do have protections. Do I want to fight them, or do I want to just put them somewhere and then at the end of the school year tell them I'm going to non-renew them, which they can do, right?
Right.
So a lot of teachers were like able to go, like you said, on home duty. Home duty means I'm paying you for sitting home twiddling your thumbs. You check in with me every other hour on a Zoom to let me know that you still locked in. But other than that, you could be at home rubbing your feet together watching Narcos. Okay? Or looking for another job. Hello. Okay. So a lot of those teachers that did that, or they were reassigned to the bus barn or reassigned to, I had a teacher one of the union people in Fort Bend tell me they assigned one of their teachers to clean buses. And I said, whoa, I thought that you couldn't give them a duty that was like, I don't want to say beneath, that's a terrible phrase to use.
Their job.
Yeah.
So that is absolutely true. That person could have absolutely challenged that because they are not supposed to give you anything that's demeaning, demoralizing, or that does not align with your job description. I don't care if there is a need in the bus barn. As a professional educator, that's not where you reassign someone. So just shame on whoever district. But with that whole scandal, there was a lot of things that were done. I echo your sentiments of do not resign. No one can pressure you. No one can coerce you. No one can suggest. No one can make you. They can't bully you. They can't intimidate you into resigning. If and when you resign, you have just done them a favor because now they don't have to do anything.
They don't have to do any work.
They don't have to continue to pay you.
No.
They don't have to do an investigation. They don't have to do any of those things.
You made it easy for them.
You made it easy for them. Yeah. They are going to threaten you with all these things because it is just much easier if you resign. Ladies, if you are past your childbearing years, men as well, take a leave or absence. Never would take 60% of your pay is better than 0% of your pay.
Yeah.
Because when you resign, that's what happens. Your family is negatively impacted immediately. Benefits, salary, all of those things. And that's just something that you just absolutely should not do.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Chapter 21,
come on. So, hold on. Let me pour me up something. School the people, because the people don't know.
To the Texas Education Code, and I'm reading this, you guys, that governs teacher contracts, specifically probationary, term, and continuing contracts. It outlines your rights around non-renewal, termination, and due process. So, most educators don't realize how much protection it actually offers until it's too late. If you're calling me and you've already been terminated, it's too late. If you're calling me and you have a meeting tomorrow, it's too late.
Yeah.
Here's the catch. Districts often sidestep Chapter 21 by pushing teachers to resign quietly. That move may feel like a relief in the moment, but it strips you of unemployment eligibility, the right to grieve or appeal, and in many cases, your ability to get rehired elsewhere. So if you're called into a meeting and told to resign, for your record, just take a pause. You are not required to sign anything.
That is so interesting.
Take 24 hours. Take 48 hours. Ask for the reason in writing and protect yourself by documenting them. Bottom line, Chapter 21 is your shield, and you should wear it as one. Unless you hand it over, and most districts are banking on that fact that you don't even know what it covers.
That's it.
So, if you are being called down to have any meetings, I know that most districts will say that you are allowed to have a representative present, and they must give you 48 hours in order to do so. Go ahead and consult a representative.
So, so many things I want to touch on in what you just said. So, even with the representative, right? We find that we talked about this earlier off the air. So many teachers are like, I'm a good girl. I'll never need the union, right? So we have so many teachers that don't join the union because of cost or because they feel like it's something I'm ever going to need. So why not? And they don't ever need them until they need them. So a lot of time, well, most times, guys, if you've done something and then you try to call the union is not going to pick up your case. The union is not going to represent you in something that has previously happened if you're not already a member. Which is why I love what you do. We'll get into that later, because you are that person. Like, hey, I can step in for you. I can help you write a grievance. I know I had a situation at a school previously, and I wrote something up, and I sent it to you. Like, girl, do not, please, because y'all know I'm a certified crash out. She was like, please do not ever send that. As a matter of fact, delete that right now. Delete it right now. Don't ever send that. But you are that person that, hey, I've sat on both sides of this table, and so I can tell you how to strategically, navigate this process. But I have found when talking to my friends, especially a lot of friends where I work, a lot of friends in districts that, work around me, when HR gets you in that office and they say, I want you to resign, it is so intimidating. It is so, you're scared, right? Mm-hmm. And they'll tell you, no, I need an answer right now. And if you push back a little bit and say, you know what, let me go home and talk about it with my husband, or let me talk about it with my wife, or let me just weigh my options. Well, I need to hear something by 10 o'clock a.m. tomorrow.
They don't.
And so teachers are like, hey, I don't know what to do. They say that they need to hear something from me by 8 o'clock right now. No, they can hear something from you in May. Actually, you're employed until the end of the school year, so they can wait. You're at home. They already sent you home on ad leave. Tell them to stop contacting you. You'll contact them when you're ready, because I got a job. You have to still pay me. So what do we do when those people are like, no, contact me now. You got to give me an answer right now.
Then you become deathly ill, and you
not deathly.
You become deathly ill. You come down with COVID or some type of tragedy where you can't talk, you can't speak, and you can't come in for another 5 days. Burn your days if nothing else.
So you can burn your days, because I know of a situation where an educator was told, "Hey, if
you've earned it."
I earned them. I've been teaching for 50 years, and I have, let's say, 25 days. It's May, and you're getting ready to put me on ad leave for some crazy allegation that a parent had. And you're sending me to the bus barn, but I don't want to go to the bus barn. So F the bus barn. I'm going to use my days because I got 100 of them. Mm-hmm. No, you can't use your days. What do you mean? So the teacher is like, hey, they said I can't use my days. I said, what do you mean you can't use? You've been teaching for 50 years. What do you mean that you can't use your days? I'm confusion. I don't understand.
If you can't use your days, then go on the leave.
Go on FMLA.
Yeah, go on FMLA.
Like mental anguish, mental distress, high blood pressure. I got to get surgery or get my big toenail removed, my ingrown toenail removed.
Right, go get some work done.
Interesting. Okay, teachers, use your benefits.
Yeah, use your benefits, but use them strategically. You can't just go in there popping out like, well, I'm just going to burn my days. That is not what I'm saying. What I am saying is be strategic in how you move when you know that things are happening.
Right.
So, like I said, and this typically doesn't happen in larger districts, where they don't give you any notice and they just tell you straight to go down to HR. But if that event actually happens, immediately be like, oh no, I can't go right now. I'm sick. I need to go home. If you sense that there is turmoil in the air or there's something in the water is not clean, do not continue to go to work. Go home. Take 24 hours or 40 hours to consult with somebody on what you should do. Because once you get in there, that's when the pressure track.
That's when it happened. Yeah, absolutely.
So let's say, for instance, you come to work on Monday, something happens, your leadership team is, just being a little shifty. And all of a sudden, immediately the principal pops up on your calendar on like a Wednesday or Thursday. Wednesday or Thursday, you
sick. You sick.
Our weekend in this way.
Yeah, because that's what they do.
Right.
That's what they do. Oh my God.
It could be nothing. It could just be a write-up. It could be their steps to terminate you.
Right. So
what board approval? They also there also has to be board approval in order for you to be terminated.
Right.
So again, you can't walk into work and they say you're fired.
Right.
That doesn't.
That means that when they say that,
but it is highly unlikely. That's where Chapter 21 comes in. Like,
right.
Highly unlikely.
So they'll tell you we are recommending you to the board for termination. All right. But then even with that, there's a process.
Absolutely.
There's a process.
Throughout this process, you are on paid leave.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of teachers think it happens the next day or the next week. And it's like,
Meetings the next day.
yeah, but there are levels. There are levels to this. And in every level, you have a right to appeal it. Um,
But the final appeal is at the board.
At the board.
If you make it to the third level,
mhm.
and you go to the board, then if the board says no, the answer is no, and then that's when you have to go through the EEOC and consult legal.
So I thought after the board, I guess it depends on the district. I don't know, that you could appeal to the commissioner of education.
Yes, but I would say it's circumstantial too.
Yeah, because once the board says no, I'm sure the commissioner is like, "Girl, you need that."
Call the board.
Yeah, you need that.
And then he'll be like, he'll allow you
Mhm.
to go through the appeal process, and then you still gonna know.
Yeah.
As opposed to you just going straight to the EEOC.
So then, what is the impact of a termination on your record versus a resignation?
This is so interesting to me because unless someone does a reference check on you,
Mm-hmm.
how are they to know that you were terminated from anywhere?
Mm. So on the job applications, don't they ask you that? Have you ever resigned in lieu of termination?
Right. And you are supposed to answer that honestly. But the reality of it is who's going to tell them?
Mm.
They would have to request it. And in most cases, you are getting a reference from one of your friends. Nobody is using.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
You're using the head of something or this or
department head, your homegirl. That's
whatever. So it's gonna be very hard to prove that.
Mhm.
But you are asked to be honest about that because it is possible for it to come up. And then we walk into you're not a cultural fit because you were dishonest about why you did your last job.
Yeah.
If you were ever terminated for any reason, but that's really hard because what would happen is once they do the job verification, it will just ask if you are rehireable or not.
Okay.
You not being rehireable or being rehireable with
conditions or whatever they say.
Like that, still doesn't say what happened. And if you are truly a people's person, a human resource practitioner, and that you are just trying to be fair to everybody, you understand that there are two sides to every story.
Absolutely.
There is a district that I worked for, and while I could have learned so much, I just couldn't get down with the culture. I didn't like my manager. My manager did not like me. It was not a cultural fit.
Okay.
We found that out very quick.
Wow. In the HR department?
Yes.
Wow.
So it happens. So I don't want people to... Being a cultural fit is a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Heck yeah. I've been told that so many times that I'm not a cultural fit. Let me ask you something. I'm going to kind of pry into a little of your school district's HR experience. What is the situation, if you can remember? I want you to speak broadly. I know you can't be specific about a situation.
NDAs are real.
Right, they are. When you were like, hold on, y'all are really trying to set this person up. Y'all are really trying to set this person up. And I don't like it. I'm not with it. Let me try to help this person. Let me try to drop a little sprinkle of information to try to help them. Because I see what y'all are doing is you're trying to railroad this person. Have you ever had a situation like that?
There was some things with testing improprieties at a district that I previously worked for. And I won't say that they were trying to railroad this principal. What I will say is they absolutely were not trying to soften the blow or assist him in trying to prove that he had no part in the testing improprieties.
Okay.
And he was asked to let go. Now, for you leadership educators and principals and all that good stuff, in most cases, when you are let go and or asked to be let go, there's a separate. There in most cases there's a severance attached to it.
Okay.
So my advice to anybody would be is to ask for it. Like, okay, you want me to end my contract earlier? What type of severance are we talking about? A month pay, 6 weeks? My vacation. Like, what does my final payout look like? Now, this doesn't really apply to a lot of people, but there are some professions where you absolutely can just ask for it. Like, okay, I'll accept this termination under these conditions because I feel that, and I have facts to prove it,
Mhm.
that these things happen as a form of retaliation.
Got it.
So here's what I have. I don't want to be here anymore. Y'all don't want me here. That's fine. So let's do this. Let's walk through my termination or my separation completely.
Mhm.
And another thing that I will pin to you guys is based off of lived experience. If you are under some type of settlement, in the ask, because you can ask for anything. It's just a matter of are they going to give it to you or not.
Mhm.
Don't go in asking for apologies because nobody's
going to give it to you.
You want a payout. And so in that payout, you're also asking for when somebody does a reference to you, it doesn't say that you were terminated. Or it doesn't say that you were non-renewed or something like that. It doesn't say that you don't work there anymore.
Yeah, I worked here from August to May.
That's it. Just give
They taught English. Have a great day.
And that is a condition that they can approve.
Okay, interesting. So let's go on to talking more about what you do as the owner, a CEO of The Human Resource. Tell us all about The Human Resource.
So The Human Resource is a great platform for educators and professionals who who are not a part of a union and they need representation in some way. And so what that looks like is, because I've actually gotten tons of referrals just from you because people are calling and they don't know where to go, what to do. Everything does not warrant an attorney.
Right.
Let's be honest. An attorney's retainer is $5,000 to $10,000, and they want that before they start anything. A consultation is anywhere from $250 to $500 as well. So you just want to know, okay, do I have a case? You want to be heard,
right? You
want to be able to ask a professional, this is what happened to me. What can I do about it? So that's where I come in. So I am able to consult with you, and you bring, we do an intake, we lay out everything that happened, and then we strategize on whether or not it was a justified termination and or removal or not. And you can take my advice on not doing it, on doing it or not doing it.
Okay.
The reality of it is, at some point you may need an attorney, but in most cases you don't. You just need someone who is who knows employment law, and that can navigate a strategy with you. So let's say, for instance, we do an intake, we do this, and we discover, okay, yes, you have something that we can actually submit to the EEOC. What it comes in is I will actually do all of those things for you. I will make the appointment. I will sit with you through the interviews. I will put up together all of the information. Now, what's great about this grassroots initiative is, let's say, for instance, we did all of that, and you spent $1,500. You still need an attorney.
Right.
I'm able to consult with the attorney that we have on board to say, hey, we did all this. We went through the ELC. I did all this. Here is the binder where all these things are done, and you don't have to do that much. So where you may have this, he may have wanted a $10,000 retainer from you. He's now only asking for $5,000. The reality of it is, when we're talking about lawsuits, the only way you're going to get some money is with a lawyer.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
However, if you are going through things on your campus or at your employer where you need a representative to speak for you and to answer the tough questions, where you just sit there and, we talk about the things offline, then I am who you need. Everything does not warrant an attorney. You need some type of representation.
Yeah.
And so when you're not in a union, then it hurts you, because what you have with a union is that immediately when something happens, you pick up the phone and call your union, and you can say, hey, I need you to come to this meeting at this time. If you're not a part of a union, you can't make that phone call.
Yeah.
So now you're scrambling to see who's going to sit through this meeting with me, and then that's where I come in.
Yeah. So I think another important thing for people to realize is, like, hey, do not go in these meetings alone. Thinking that you can, slay your principal and assistant principal, the district exec's human resource officer, their assistant. You can't do it. Like, you're going to be too emotional. You're going to be all the things. And so it's best to have representation where you can, like you told me before years ago, be quiet. Just be quiet. Be quiet, right?
And just like when the police, you get arrested, they say this can be used against you.
Yeah.
It absolutely
can be used against you.
Out of frustration. It is and will be used against.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's super important. So tell us how we can find you, how we can get your services if we need it. When should we call you? What's the first indication of something snaky going on that we need to be hitting you up?
When things start to shift,
Mm-hmm.
when you notice that there's a shift in the atmosphere on your campus or at your job, where you and your manager or your supervisor, y'all were friends, y'all hung out on the weekend. And something happened, all of a sudden they become very distant. They start pushing you away and or start depositing doubt in your abilities to colleagues and other professionals in the organization. That truly does happen. So when you see that start to happen, and you see that the email language changes, or they want to start having a lot of off the record conversations with you. What I will, a really interesting nugget that I want to leave with you guys is Texas is a one party state. What that means is you are able to record your conversations. This is what I mean about documentation. You never have a conversation with your manager or your principal or anybody in leadership without recording.
Yeah. And to always assume that you're being recorded too.
Absolutely.
Always.
You probably won't be because they're naturally assuming that you're not recording.
Yeah.
You have to be a radical for them to say she's probably recording.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't sit down with you without thinking if you were recording.
Thank you.
I would ask like y'all. She has 5 recording devices on her.
She has the meta glasses on. She recording us.
And you can always tell how the language is.
Absolutely.
Because they get very stiff and very formal, and the ad libs and the anecdotes, they disappear.
Yeah, it's not natural conversation anymore at all. So again, plugging the School Truth Project again, this grassroots initiative that I've started along with some of my teacher friends to try to help give teachers a voice and try to help teachers advocate for themselves. I always am seeking donations because here's the reality, guys. Let's say, for instance, we have even people that are paraprofessionals. We know paraprofessionals literally make nothing, $20,000, $25,000 a year, and they need assistance. And let's say they say, hey, I can't afford the consult fee or I can't afford this. The School Truth Project wants to help assist and alleviate some of the costs that are associated with having to reach out for assistance. And so I'm always seeking donations. And our hope is that we turn this into some type of nonprofit union style thing here for us in the state of Texas, because so many teachers don't trust unions for whatever reason. They feel like unions are not beneficial to them. They feel like unions are not helpful for them. And we're Texas, right? There's a lot of things that we cannot do being in Texas. And so we're here to be that voice. I've already started getting emails from people and they're like, hey, I want to call out this principal. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I'm like, hey guys, I'll call out. I don't mind. Make sure you got it in black and white. I ain't calling out nobody for foolishness and getting sued. But with everything, I think this is an important thing for teachers to understand. There are costs associated with all of these things, right? I have reached out to you several times for teachers and you're like, oh, all right, girl, I'm going to give you 1 or 2. You got 10 minutes. But these things cost, right? Because your time, your professionalism, your licensing, your education, all of those things require payment. So although you may do me a 1 or 2 good solids, you're going to be tired of me texting you saying, hey, Jay, I got a situation. And so with those things, these are the reasons why we are asking teachers for donations, or we're asking everybody for donations. So that way, when we do get someone in that cannot afford the cost or needs help with the cost, I'm able to pay you or pay whomever in order to assist them without it being an issue. It can't come out of my pocket, guys, because I ain't got no money. Okay, I'm getting ready to send a kid to college. I'm broke. Y'all, I might need to be asking y'all for the donations from me. Okay, so tell us again where to find you on social media, your website, how we get in contact with you if we need to reach out to you.
So it is thehumanresource.net, and you can find me on Instagram at the.humanresource on Instagram.
All righty. So we definitely look forward to working with you at the School Truth Project. We already got some things up in works. Like you said, some teachers have already started to reach out to you. We got you busy this summer. Yes. So
I'm very busy this summer.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
So we want to keep that going though.
So what I want you guys to know is that it's okay not to be a part of a union. A union, let's say for instance that you are a veteran teacher and you've been working for 10, 15 years and you've never had an issue. Like to your point, it's like insurance. You don't need it until you
need it.
And so if the cost is $100 per month, then $100 times 12 times 16 years, you would have just wasted all that money until you actually need it. But it is something that is worth the investment.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself in a situation on the second day of school or at Snapshot, and you feel like things are starting to take a turn, and you have enough evidence to prove that your civil rights are being violated, whether that is age discrimination, race, gender, pregnancy, all of the things.
Whistleblower.
Right, whistleblower, all of the things, then you need to start preparing to speak with myself or someone else. But you do not sit in front of your supervisor, your leadership team, your HR without representation. The $200 or whatever you guys are going to spend in order to have somebody there to be a solid resource, it's worth it. Then you going in and getting bullied into resigning, and then you lose all your benefits.
Absolutely. And guys, when y'all reach out to me, just know that I am the crash out of the crew, right? So I am already immediately ready to go to 10. So please contact Jay. And Jay is very rational. Very logical, because y'all know when y'all contact me, I'm ready to go to hell and back. All right. So we do want to make sure that we're reaching out to Jay so that we can do things the professional way, the logical way, the rational way, the human resource way.
Right.
You like what I just did there? We like that.
Go ahead. We want to be able to help everybody. There's a team of HR professionals that with specific K through 12 education that is on board to be able, in multiple districts that'll be able to navigate through whatever it is that you're going to.
Yeah, love that. Well, thank you, Jay, for joining us. I want to bring you back. I posted a question on Instagram and asked everyone to say, hey, if you could ask HR one question, what would you ask them? So I want to come back and do like a little bonus episode to see what was some of the questions that we got and see if we can give these people some answers. So again, thanks for joining us here on Richmond Force Finest, the podcast. Again, this is Jay with The Human Resource, working in conjunction with the School Truth Project, guys. So we will hopefully be in contact with you guys real soon. Have a good one. Yes, we hope you do too.